Tessa, I gave everything to your brother. For a moment, I thought I misheard him. The words didn't fit my world. They belonged to someone else's nightmare, not mine. I tightened my grip on my phone, betrayal slicing through me like a blade. My father's voice was calm, too calm, as if he hadn't just dismantled 20 years of my life with a single breath. As if Mitchell Enterprises, the empire we built together, meant nothing. The view from my office window blurred. My mind raced through the implications. I had believed I was the backbone of this company, that I mattered, that I was his equal. I was wrong. 0057. Thanks for letting me know, I said, my voice disturbingly even. Silence. He expected me to scream, plead, fight. I gave him nothing. Tessa, I know this might seem unfair. I hung up. The silence in my office felt like a vacuum, heavy and suffocating. And then, something shifted. I inhaled slowly, steadying the fire in my chest. He thought it was over. He was wrong. 1:36. Mitchell Enterprises wasn't just a company, it was my life. I had been there since the beginning, side by side with my father, clawing our way up. At 19, I joined officially. While he had vision, I made it scalable. I built the investment strategies, expanded the portfolio, and pulled us back from the edge of collapse more times than I could count. But over the past year, things had changed. He started excluding me. Reports stopped landing on my desk. Decisions were made behind closed doors by Liam, the golden child, my father's fantasy of a perfect son. While I built a business, he partied in Monaco. He had never cared about the company, never earned a damn thing, and yet my father gave it all to him. I should have seen it coming. 2:58. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out the black notebook. The real one. Not the polished, board-approved fiction. The truth. Every deal, every risk, every secret liability. They thought they had taken everything. They had no idea. 3:32. I leaned back, staring out at the city skyline. This wasn't defeat. This was ignition. I left the office early, not to wallow, but to think. Driving through Austin, the city I helped shape, I realized they thought I'd vanish. They thought I'd grieve. They didn't understand who I was. 4:59. I got home, tossed my keys on the counter, and walked to the study. The books on negotiation and strategy that once filled me with pride felt hollow. So I turned to the one thing that had never betrayed me, my notebook. Inside was everything I needed to tear their empire down. My father once said power wasn't about what you owned. It was about what you controlled. And I knew exactly where the pressure points were. 6:38. I called Ethan Carter, my father's oldest friend, the man who had helped fund Mitchell Enterprises when it was just an idea scratched on a napkin. Tessa, he answered, it's been a while. We need to talk. He didn't. Ask why. 7:27. The private club was filled with men who built legacies. Ethan waited, whiskey in hand. So, he said, tell me what happened. I told him everything. And what do you want from me? I want to build something better. I want them to realize what they threw away. Ethan studied me, then smiled. Your father always said you had my ruthlessness. I smiled back. I'm better. 9. Mitchell Enterprises was over-leveraged. They were investing in industries. They didn't understand. They were growing faster than they could sustain. And I had built the infrastructure. I knew exactly where to pull the threads. So you won't attack them, Ethan said. You'll let them destroy themselves. Exactly. And then I'd strike. 11 source. I started my own firm. Lean, strategic, focused. I didn't steal employees. I offered freedom, and they came willingly. By the end of the month, I had the top 10 minds from Mitchell Enterprises working beside me. 13:32. And Liam? He never saw it coming. He panicked, blamed sabotage. called emergency meetings. The board started to question his leadership. 1508. The Harlan Tech deal collapsed spectacularly. What had once been Mitchell's most promising acquisition was now someone else's prize, a firm I had advised. The headlines were brutal. I knew the next call was coming. 1614. Tessa, my father said. We need to talk. I'm busy. Tessa. I ended the call. I wasn't the one begging anymore. 1721. Danielle, my mentor and now ally, texted me. Liam's losing it. Board's panicking. You were right. I called Ethan. It's time. We made our move. 20. Mitchell Enterprises was bleeding talent, losing contracts and drowning in debt. And I didn't even have to lift a finger. 21. Then came the desperate meeting. My father, Liam, the folder, bankruptcy. We need you, my father said. I could have laughed. Instead, I'll think about it. 2320, I never went back. I let them squirm. 2417. Then came the article. Mitchell Enterprises files for bankruptcy amid leadership crisis. Their assets sold to me. 2513. I sat in my office, my company, signing the contract that gave me everything worth salvaging from Mitchell Enterprises. They had been playing checkers. I was playing chess. 2601. My father came to see me. You really did it, he said. I did. You could have come back. No, you could have fixed it. But you chose Liam. And now, I had taken it all. 2717. He wanted forgiveness. I gave him silence. 2801. Power isn't given. It's taken, and I took everything. 1. Strong voice. Tessa's voice is sharp, determined, and layered with emotional depth. You can feel the betrayal simmering beneath her every move, but it's all channeled into strategic cold calculation. 2. High stakes, personal motive. This isn't just about a hostile takeover, it's deeply personal. That fusion of business, strategy, and emotional retribution is gripping. 3. Tight pacing. From the phone call to Ethan to her new office, you keep the momentum up while layering in key exposition without dragging the narrative. 4. Dialogue. The conversations snap. They feel authentic, especially the scenes with Ethan. The tension and mutual respect are palpable. Opportunities to sharpen one. Let moments breathe more. Some of the big scenes, like Tessa showing Ethan the list of names, or the first call with Danielle, could use a bit more emotional depth or internal reflection. How did it feel to have Danielle say yes? Did she tear up a little? Did Tessa feel vindicated? You could slow down just a touch to make those beats land harder. 2. Clarify some timelines. You mentioned she secures funding within a week and has 10 people by the end of the month, which works well. But maybe throw in a quick montagey paragraph or a sentence hinting at sleepless nights, secrets, meetings, quick wins. It'd keep the momentum while grounding the progression. 3. Naming the firm. The very end says, Mitchell Enterprises had taken rewrite. Looks like a cutoff or typo. Were you going to say the name of her new company? That moment could be a mic drop if the name is symbolically potent. Just for fun ideas, optional vibes boosters. Tessa naming the firm something that subtly, or not so subtly, references her mother or another personal tie her father overlooked. One of the key employees she poaches is someone Liam tried to sideline or discredit. A scene where her father starts to realize what's happening, maybe midway through the next act. A slow-burning dread. Voice and tone. Tessa's inner monologue is confident and compelling. You've nailed that mix of cold determination and personal satisfaction without making her feel villainous. Pacing. The timeline of the downfall is brisk but clear. You don't linger too long on any one moment, and it keeps the tension high. Dialogue. Subtle emotional undercurrents, especially with her father, add depth. It's not just business, it's legacy, betrayal, and identity. Corporate intrigue. The strategy, betrayals, and power plays feel authentic. You're giving us that Succession-style drama with clear stakes. Suggestions. If you're revising or expanding, bring in more emotional nuance. Tessa's resolve is strong, but a fleeting moment of vulnerability or self-doubt could add complexity. Even a single line like, "For a second, I wondered if this made me heartless," before she shuts the thought down could add layers. Clarify the Ethan alliance. Is Ethan a co-founder, a rival CEO, a former Mitchell exec? Giving him a bit more backstory, even just a line or two, would make their alliance more impactful. Contrast past versus present. Maybe sprinkle in a short flashback, a boardroom moment where her father overlooked her or a time Liam undermined her. That would give even more emotional payoff to her current victories. Foreshadow Tessa's endgame. What's her true goal? Just revenge? Or is she building something radically new in its place? A small hint could tease what's coming next. Title. Ideas, if you're naming this chapter scene. The first domino legacy unraveled the heir's revenge. Silent coup built to fall. I wasn't angry anymore. By 7:08 p.m., I was just watching it all burn. Liam was drowning, and I watched from a distance as Mitchell Enterprises, once a powerhouse, once my legacy, began to collapse under the weight of his incompetence. It started slowly, a missed deadline here, an underperforming quarter there. But then it spiraled, and I made sure I was there to accelerate the descent. After the Harlan Tech deal fell through, the company didn't just lose a business opportunity, they lost their credibility. Investors stopped being concerned. They started getting scared. Then came the departures. At first, it was a few executives, the ones I had personally recruited for my new firm. But then the floodgates opened. The managers who actually kept the company running began to walk. Clients hesitated. Contracts that used to be guaranteed suddenly weren't renewed. Investors started calling my father directly, demanding answers. And the best part? I hadn't lifted a single finger. Liam was doing it all by himself. The second call from my father came late at night. I was in my office, reviewing a contract for my firm's latest acquisition, one that had once been Mitchell Enterprises' crown jewel. The irony wasn't lost on me. I let the phone ring 3 times before answering. "Dad?" His voice was different this time. Not angry, not arrogant, desperate. "Tessa, we need to talk. In person." I leaned back in my chair, fingers tapping lightly on the desk. "What for?" A pause, then a heavy sigh. "Liam is struggling. The board's concerned. There are financial issues." Financial issues. That was putting it lightly. Mitchell Enterprises wasn't just flailing, it was hemorrhaging. Every failed deal, every bad decision Liam made chipped away at the foundation. "And you think I can help?" I asked, feigning innocence. "Tessa, please." His voice softened to something almost unfamiliar. "I know you're angry, but you're still part of this family. You've always been the smartest one. We need you." Ah, there it was. For the first time, my father was admitting what I'd always known to be true. But it was too late. We met at his office the next morning. The air was thick with tension. Liam was already there, stiff in his seat, his usual cocky smirk nowhere in sight. He knew. They both knew. "Tessa," my father began, "we need to restructure the company. The losses have been significant." "Define significant," I said, arms crossed. He slid a folder across the desk. I opened it. Mitchell Enterprises was on the verge of bankruptcy. The man who had built an empire from nothing had let it crumble in less than a year because he handed it all to the wrong person. I closed the folder and looked him in the eyes. "What do you want from me?" He hesitated, then quietly, "Come back. Help us fix this." I could have laughed. I could have walked out and never looked back. But instead, I let the silence stretch, savoring the shift in power. Liam, the golden child, was silent now. No arrogance, no entitlement, just fear. "And if I don't?" I asked. "We lose everything," my father said, exhaling. I tapped. The folder with my nail. This was it. They had discarded me, underestimated me, forgotten what I was capable of. And now they were begging for help. "I'll think about it," I said smoothly, standing to leave. Liam's head snapped up. "Wait, what? Dad, she can't just—" "She can do whatever she wants," my father cut in. Liam went quiet. I left. I had already won. And they still had no idea what I was going to do next. I didn't go back. I didn't return their calls. Didn't respond to the carefully worded emails or the increasingly desperate letters. I let them wait. I let them wonder. And while they scrambled to fix the mess, I made my final move. 1 month later, the headlines hit. Mitchell Enterprises files for bankruptcy amid leadership crisis. The article was brutal, an unflinching autopsy of a corporate collapse. Every failed acquisition, every executive departure, every desperate misstep. And Liam's name was all over it. But the part that interested me most? The breakdown of assets. Mitchell Enterprises wasn't just crumbling, it was being carved up, sold off. And I had been waiting for this exact moment. In a sleek, modern conference room surrounded by my team and a small army of lawyers, the deal was finalized. My firm now owned the most valuable pieces of Mitchell Enterprises. I picked up the pen, signed my name. Done. Just like that, I had taken everything my father built, without him even realizing it was happening. Liam thought he was playing a game of power. My father thought he was preserving a legacy. But they had been playing checkers. I was playing chess. I didn't just take the company. I took the best clients. I took the most profitable divisions. I took the people who built the business in the first place. And what was left? A hollow shell. A name with no value. A legacy that no longer belonged to them. I didn't expect my father to show up again. But he did. My assistant knocked gently on my door. "Miss Mitchell, your father is here." I looked up from my desk. "Send him in." When he entered, I barely recognized him. Older, tired, like a man who finally understood what he'd lost. He stood there, taking in my office, my company, my success. "You really did it," he said quietly. "I did." A long silence. "You could have helped," he said at last. "You could have come back. We could have fixed it together." I leaned back in my chair. "No, Dad. You could have fixed it, but you didn't want to. You wanted Liam to be the golden boy. You wanted to prove that I wasn't necessary." I gestured around me. "And now, you finally understand what I always knew. It was never about the name, never about the company. It was about the people who built it." He clenched his jaw, wanted to argue, to justify, but he didn't, because he couldn't. "I made a mistake," he said, and for a fleeting second, something stirred in me. The daughter who had once wanted his approval, wanted to forgive. But then I remembered. I remembered being overlooked, undervalued, told I was never enough. So I said nothing. He nodded, the smallest admission of defeat, then turned and walked out. This time I didn't look back. I never needed Mitchell Enterprises. I never needed his approval. What I needed was the freedom to build something of my own. And that's exactly what I did. Power isn't given, it's taken. And in the end, I took everything.